Okay, guys, so I was looking at a couple of the problems as we move along, and I think what I need to help you understand is this half-life piece. I think you did this with Mr. Schleider, but I just want to talk to you about it because when they talk about half-life, I mean, you're getting a lot of information here, still the same stuff. Half-life means it's breaking down by a factor of a half, okay? And if you're starting with 40, that's your initial, so that's no big deal. What actually ends up being an issue here, though, is when it actually gets halved. So, for example, if every day it's half, it comes down to like, what do I put here? So it's not going to be 10 days. It's going to be based on this 5 days. So let's look. How much of the radioactive kind of calcium will be left after 10 days if you started with 40 grams and the half-life is 5 days? So what they're saying is every single time 5 days passes, that will reduce it a half. So you'll have 2 times that will happen, the first 5 and the second 5. So this would actually be 40 times a half squared. All right. And then it looks like it's going to be 10. We do a half squared is a quarter, and a quarter times 40 is 10. So it looks like that's what's going to happen here. Just another example. If you had, like, let's say you had 30 grams of something, and every 2 days it reduces by half, which means a half-life, okay? So how much would be there after 8 days? Well, you're not going to put 8 days here because it isn't every single day that it's going to get halved. It's I said every 2 days, right? So every 2 days you get half. So how many intervals of halving will that be? So you take the amount of days you have, it's actually going to get halved 4 times, right? So we would raise that to the 4th. And then when you do that, you'll find out how many grams are left. Sometimes with half-lives, it's just easy to make charts too, and I'll show you that. Some kids do like to do it that way. The only problem is if they actually ever command you to write, a, that's 1.8, hold on a second. Okay, so that would be 1.875 grams, all right? Now, if you don't like that, what you can basically do is this, or even on the other problem earlier. Let's just take the same problem over here for a second. So if you start out with 40, okay, and they're telling you every 5 days. So you're gonna have the first fifth you get to, So you had 40. You're gonna go for 10 days, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's gonna be half. And then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now it's gonna be down to 10. So, I mean, you can also figure it out like that, okay? The other thing I wanna just make sure you're aware of is be careful with the compound interest, because sometimes they ask you for the interest and other times they'll ask you for the total. So the formula, when you do the formula and you put the principal here, and then you put your growth factor here and you raise it in time, whatever this is, like 1.3, that's a lot, 1.03. If they ask you to do it, so let's actually give it a value. So let's say 4,000 times 1.03. And let's say they tell you that the time is 5 years, okay? So now, I'm sorry, I feel like a little discombobulated in this last video. So 4,000 times 1.03, and this is, what did I say? Let's do it 3 years. I don't know what I said before. So 4,000 times 1.03. We're going to raise it to the third. And this person now has total $4,370.91. It's really 908. So we're going to round it to the nearest cent. Now, if they ask you how much he has total, this is your answer. But if they just ask you for the interest, it is going to be the difference of these, right? You originally had 4,000, so the interest alone is going to be $370.91. So just be mindful of that as well. All right, have fun.